Hi, Democrats. Today is Wednesday, January 24th, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. Happy Wednesday. Well, it's the middle of the week. It's the day after the New Hampshire primary, and I've gotten a couple of questions as to why all the news was talking about Trump and Haley, and write-in Biden, and all of that stuff. And I thought today would be a good day to kind of summarize what happened. So traditionally, for as long as I can remember, presidential elections, there's the Iowa caucus that everybody talks about, and everybody's there eating crap from the fair and all of this stuff. And then there's New Hampshire, which is the first prime. So Iowa has always been a caucus, and New Hampshire has been the first primary. And that's been kind of how it's gone. And then we had Nevada and the Super Tuesday states, and then that's how it's gone. Last year, the Biden administration, Biden campaign made a decision to shake up the way that we elect our eventual candidate for president, our nominee for president, to shake it up a little bit, because there have been for years complaints that maybe Iowa and New Hampshire and Nevada aren't a good representation of America writ large. That our diversity has exceeded what is happening in Iowa and New Hampshire specifically. And so I think as a grand experiment, part of I see you, South Carolina, I see what you did for me. The president rearranged the calendar, right? That's what happened. So there wasn't caucusing in Iowa for Democrats, and there wasn't an official primary process. It was a little convoluted in New Hampshire. It wasn't the same as it was 4 years ago. And so that was a little bit confusing because the Biden-Harris campaign decided that the first primary is going to be, first Democratic primary is going to be in South Carolina. And so the reason nobody's talking about it is because the Dems did not do a big push in Iowa and New Hampshire, and that was by design, not because Trump and Haley are all that, and so much so that Biden made not a showing. That was by design. So don't be alarmed by that. Don't worry about that. Their process is their process. When I say they, I mean the Republican Party. Their process is their process, and our process, the Democratic Party's process, is a little bit different. So South Carolina is going to be the first primary. And so I thought it was important to talk about it because I watched my fair share of MSNBC and CNN last night, and it felt like the contest in November was going to be between Haley and Trump. And that's really scary. And I don't want anybody else to have that little gut check, because that's not real. Now, the Trump-Haley takeaway from last night is that she's closing that gap. She didn't get beat as much as she got beat in Iowa. So what I think is getting ready to happen on their side, because their front runner is a petty man, is that it's getting ready to go real ugly real quick. It's going to be ugly and messy. And what we need to do is focusing on our elections, focusing on making sure we have as many people registered and engaged in the process as possible. While they're over there acting all crazy, while they're over there doing that, we need to be, shoulder to the plow, nose to the grindstone, whatever thing you need. But we need to be focused on registering voters, staying engaged with those voters so that they show up. Because at the end of the day, the nominee, the candidate that gets the most votes is who wins. And so if you know somebody who's talking about not voting, remind them that the person who gets the most votes wins. And so if they want to sit out for a protest, the message that they're sending is that they'd rather the other guy win. We can't have that. And I don't understand what that protest is. Is it a protest against democracy? Is it a protest? They think that they're sending a message. What we need to do is we need to make sure that we're listening to the people who feel disenfranchised, and that we're addressing their specific answers so that we get them to a place where they're willing to cast a vote rather than sitting it out. Willing to understand the consequences of protest votes or not voting and all that kind of jazz so that we know where it is. Now, making a post telling people that a protest vote doesn't work is not the right way. And I'm looking sheepish because I've done that myself. Belittling somebody because they haven't thought about all the things that we've thought about is not the right way. The right way is to listen and give thoughtful answers, because that is what people need to feel heard. We need to get practiced and versed at sharing why a Democrat vote is the right vote. And that's what our focus needs to be. Not belittling, not fussing, because those don't work. Those don't work. Now, we are just shy of 7 weeks from Super Tuesday. That's coming up. That's when Oklahomans get to cast their vote in the primary elections for president. That is on March 5th. We are 41 days away from March 5th. That is a big deal. It's gonna get all the splash, all the attention, and we all need to be prepared and ready to vote and ready to drag some people with us, ready to shout out all of the excuses for not voting that they have. But that leads to our presidential preferential primary convention, which is where we as Oklahomans caucus based on the candidates that we support and elect our delegation that we're sending to the DNC convention in Chicago in August. That's happening on April 6th at the Ardmore Convention Center in Ardmore, Oklahoma. April 6th, and it's an all-day affair at the Ardmore Convention Center in Ardmore, Oklahoma. Now, if you're thinking, hey, I'd like to be part of the Oklahoma delegation that's on the floor, bouncing the Oklahoma sign with the confetti on TV. It's everyday people. It's not just well-situated folks. It's not just folks with money who could buy their way. No, there's actually an election process. And that happens at this convention on April 6th. If you need to understand how that works, the delegate selection plan, and that's what it's called, the delegate selection plan is available out at okdemocrats.org. Click on delegate selection plan. We had a break in that link, and I believe that link is fixed now. Go out to the Oklahoma delegate selection plan, and there's all these long rules, and it explains it. However, you absolutely can contact your county chair or your district chair, and there's a place on our website, if you don't know who that is, where you can send an email to your county chair or district chair and tell them that you'd like to attend a session where we have regular Oklahomans explaining the process. And it's a pretty simple process. You fill out the form saying that that you plan to participate, and those forms are available on our website. You send those forms in, you get invited to the convention, and I suggest, since this year we're going to be in person, I suggest that you campaign. You say that you're going to, we will get that fixed before the end of business today. Thank you, Jana, for pointing that out. We will get that fixed before the end of business today. You fill out the form saying that you plan to participate. You'll get invited to convention. I suggest you campaign, because a lot of people are going to be vying for the 41 positions that we have for delegates and the 3 alternates. So you're going to campaign, and then we're going to vote by congressional district and then at large. There's some other stuff in there, but this is short and you're not going to remember it all. But what you need to know at this point is that by the end of the day, the delegate selection plan is going to be on the website. The forms that say that you want to participate, you don't even have to understand what's going on, just fill out the forms. The forms that say you want to participate are available on the site right now. Fill those out and get those turned into us. And then mark your calendar, plan to be in Ardmore at the Ardmore Convention Center on April 6th. Well, I'll update you more. We're going to be adding more dates to the calendar when we're going to be training and where we're going to be training. I'd love to see you there. I'd love for it to be a robust competition, and that we have people who are just now thinking that they want to be involved in the party or involved in the process. Come join. You don't have to be an officer like me. You have to be a registered Democrat who is sincerely interested in participating in the process. It'll be fun. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back here tomorrow, and tomorrow is legislative update with Mickey Dolenz. So join us tomorrow at 4:15, and you guys have a great night.